Hello and welcome to Note to File, a clinical research podcast.
A collection of interviews, candid commentary, and general nonsense for the clinical research community.
Check us out at notetofilepodcast.com.
And now, without further ado, on to the show.
Hey guys, welcome to another Note to File Live, another Sticky Notes. Denali, how's it going?
Good. Cannot believe it's the end of February. It's been an absolute marathon of a month, but
yeah, I would say that's true. What up, Scott? Sorry for the not so relaxing song, but sometimes you need some hype music, you know?
Yeah, I get it.
And, it happens to be maybe the best, post-hardcore album ever made is Refused, The Shape of Punk to Come. So maybe get some culture, okay? And then come back and talk to me. Anyways, it's been a long month.
Tell me how you really feel.
You were just at, the longer this show goes on, the more I'm just going to start saying shit. I might as well have fun with it. Sorry, Scott. Next time I don't know. You let me know what you want to hear. And I'll put it on next time. Or at least I'll strongly consider it.
You're going to start taking requests now?
Yeah, basically this is karaoke. So just sign up for what you want.
Absolutely not.
Okay, that's probably true. You were just at another conference, yes?
Yeah, I just got back from LA. I was at VIVE, which is
I just got back from LA.
Shut up. Yes, I just got back from LA. And you know what? I really don't like traveling out to the West Coast. Like, I like California, honestly. Like, it's really cool, beautiful. Honestly, I like people too. But like traveling out, it's actually coming back from traveling out west. I feel like you lose so much time that I feel like yesterday, I don't know. Yesterday was a long day, I will say. But it was an interesting conference. It was the first time. Usually it's in Nashville, and they moved it to LA this year for God knows whatever reason.
That's quite a switch.
Yeah, and they're going back to Nashville again next year for VIVE. So.
And it's more like broad. It's like broad healthcare.
It's not research specific. Yeah.
Like what was it?
what it be?
Is it? Tell.
So VIVE is focused on, very simply put, like healthcare IT. So it is like, it's not like the HIMSS conference. Like, you're not getting all of like Epic doesn't go, like the big EHR vendors, but it's a lot of various different healthcare tech vendors, cybersecurity, transcription, interoperability. I think I walked around the exhibit hall. There's one other vendor there who even mentioned clinical research, which is part of the reason we wanted to go, because it's like, hey, it's like all like the CMIOs, CIOs, like informatics leadership from hospitals and health systems is the primary attendance. And so I was like, hey, you should care about research. Have you thought about research and how you're supporting it at your hospital or health system? And that's why we went. But it's more, basic healthcare IT. And like VIVE specifically originally started, there's a whole like an investor track, and they connect to like healthcare delivery. And it's also not just delivery, it's also plans too. So like health insurance companies and the software they use. So it's a combination of that stuff as well.
Sounds insufferable.
I feel that way about all conferences. So what can I say? But no, it wasn't bad. It was a little bit, again, you switch something from Nashville to LA, like the vibe is different.
Are those places different?
Slightly. Just very
culturally pretty much the same, I think.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah. Yeah, pretty
I
much.
could see that. I could see that being the case. Yeah, I was just curious too, like how much of a presence research has in the bigger. Look, again, we live in this weird world because like all we do is research. But like if you step outside, nobody hardly even knows a damn thing about research, much less like cares deeply and passionately about it. Yes, broadly we need research to get drugs approved, but go into any health system or hospital, if they aren't doing research, they're probably fairly clueless about it. Even if they are, they're probably fairly clueless about it.
And that's the thing, right? So it's like this facet or this part of the hospital, oftentimes you see folks who at like major systems, it's like there's the research division, like PIs are sprinkled throughout, but then there's the research division, and like kind of stops there. Like everyone knows they kind of do it, but like no one cares about it, no one prioritizes it. So it was fascinating. I mean, props to our marketing team, but we had to change our entire messaging. Like I couldn't be like, hey, like you can be like, they don't know what a CTMS is.
Right.
They don't know what a CRC, you know what I mean? They don't know any of this, really, most people. So you have to talk about like, you're doing research. Did you know? Did you know how you're supporting research? It's probably, you know what I mean? Like it was just very different. Like you couldn't use like, oh, your sponsors. They don't know. You have to say pharma companies. It's just, it was really interesting, like pivoting to that market and like even like different vernacular, because like to speak the same language there. So it was interesting. It was good.
Yeah. Shout out Emerson. Mentioning went to a local tech conference, attended the health tech track, and nobody knows what the clinical research industry even was. Yeah. So it's weird that it's feels like such a small, big industry. You know, obviously there's a lot of this, but yeah, you even talk to anyone in the bigger space, I feel like they're saying, huh, what is that?
Well, I mean, I wonder if other, like, I'm sure folks at other vendors probably have this experience too, where you're selling to these larger groups, like in hospitals, in health systems, and academic centers, and you have to go through their procurement channels and their vendor management channels. And it is wildly infuriating because you're now trying to explain to them what their own what their own organization is doing and why this software is important. And they have no clue what research is. And so like it's just like, okay, well, but no, I swear this is important. Like ask your people.
And again, to your point earlier, like I worked in a hospital where they had their own research foundation that did clinical trials. They've had it for 15 years, but you go, our research staff would go into a patient room and nurses and, charge nurses, managers, they'd be like, who are you? What are you doing? What are you doing here? Who let you in? I'm like, oh, we're here with research. Like what research? So even within organizations that have it, it can be, and again, I've heard other people sort of have, lament the same thing. So yeah, it's just a weird deal, like how little awareness there is.
But I mean, it was a good, like once folks were like, oh, okay, I'll talk to you. And you sort of like frame it in their languages. It was good. Met some interesting folks.
Well, very cool. Okay. Well,
which got me ready for next week when I travel back out to California to do another conference.
But a much cooler conference. I mean, come on. Next week is Save Our Sites. So, if you're listening, come say hi. If you're not coming, then, shame on you.
And that'll be out in San Diego end of next week. Yeah? Getting that right?
Yep. It's Friday, Saturday next week. Right? Thursday, Friday. No, it's Friday, Saturday next week. There's like a welcome party and stuff Thursday night.
Welcome reception, yeah.
If you are going and you're not like on the little Hoova app, check it out because it's actually insane to me. I made a post about it, but they were like, like I do, I waited like too long to actually log in and take a look at it. But by the time I did, there are literally over 800 like comments. There might be closer to 1,000. That's just the ones that I haven't gone through. So,
you haven't clicked on.
Yeah, there's like huge like conversation going on there, which I think is amazing. I've never seen a conference app where like that happens, so it's pretty neat.
Well, no, and the thing I think, so I also was probably a little late to the party. I got back from VIVE and I was like, oh, I should probably think about next week. And so I like download the app and like I'm speaking at a session. And so I was like, there's like folks engaging on that. I think the fascinating difference, because every conference has an app, right? Like every single one. I think the biggest, or at least for me most, because like, and all the conference apps have a ton of activity on them. However, all of it is, hello, do you need AI for your workflow? You should connect at booth 106. And it's like, hello, do you need staffing? We could be innovative partners together. And you get all of these like BD outreach pieces on the conference app. So they explode and it's a bunch of meaningless chatter being like, did you even look to see what I do? Like that is not relevant to me. But the variation of the difference in the SOS one is it's more just like people connecting, asking questions, planning get-togethers.
Like,
it's
people
not
asking
BD.
A lot of questions about the industry site stuff. So yeah, it seems like it's more of a sharing of information rather than buy my product.
like, let's meet up and let me pitch you what I'm doing. Which, I mean, it's super good. I've never seen that. Like, even the previous SOSs, I don't know if you guys had an app because I wasn't that plugged in, but like,
yeah, we did, but it was certainly not like
this.
set up like this. No. So this has been great. Emerson, see you there. I think, I don't know. The vibe is pretty laid back. It's probably admittedly not for everyone because it's not like the heaviest like BD per se. I mean, I think we also like, we take sponsors, so we do have like, there's booths, but I also think it's kind of nice because we try to really work to make sure like the sponsors are relevant for sites.
So I'm gonna jump in because I am both involved from like a speaker note to file perspective, but also Viva is sponsoring, and like I think from a putting my Viva hat on, I think it's a hugely valuable conference as a sponsor because these are sites that we want to connect with, right? Like, so, but I think it's to your point, like oftentimes you go to these things and you're like, the fuck? Like, what is a regulatory binder vendor doing at like a grant writing conference? Like, this is like, what? So I think they're all like relevant and like there's solutions for like, they've been positioned as solutions for problems sites have, not things that we're trying to that like the audience is trying to be sold. It's like, hey, you might have these problems, talk to these people, they might have solutions that can help, not like get you in on the ground floor type of conversation. So both sides, I think it's valuable.
And again, I think the vibe's fairly laid back. You'll see that in my experience, a lot more people coming up to the mic to start conversations or during the panel stuff. It gets fun. I think there's a little bit. What's fun is there's a lot more leeway for those conversations. So they get a little. In the one hand, they can get a little bit goofy, but like, I don't know. I like that. You don't see that engagement a lot. When you're just watching somebody do a lecture. And yeah, Emerson, someone was putting together like a group of people to go play music. So sign up, dude. Come shred. I'll try to make it out there.
See, that one was tricky because then what you have to like bring, you have to like check and bring all your instruments.
No, you rent. There's like a place where you rent. You can rent a guitar for like $15 an hour or something.
Hilarious. I clearly don't play instruments, so did not check that one out thoroughly.
I'm only going to play Stairway to Heaven for an hour straight.
Oh, good God.
If you can that, then,
unfortunately, I'm really busy at that time.
Yeah, well, probably smart. Okay, well, today's National Pistachio Day. I didn't really get to lead with that.
I love pistachios. They're probably my favorite nut.
Yeah, like they're good. I used to hate them when I was a kid. Actually, just because they look fucking weird, man. Like the way they look bothers me. They were used to bother me.
Okay, so like in the shell or out of the shell?
In the shell. Well, both. I mean, out of the shell, they look freaking weird. They look pretty weird.
All nuts look kind of weird, let's be honest. Like when they look out of the shell. Yeah, this conversation could go sideways very quickly. Oh no.
I don't know. There's something just that, again, not so much now I like them, but it just was upsetting to me. Like, a pecan looks delicious. A pistachio looks dirty and like I don't know.
See, I don't know. We always had them around like Christmas time at my house, and I like them because like they slow me down when I'm eating them instead of just like shoveling them in.
Yeah, that's fair.
I also, one of my all-time favorite things as a child was pistachio pudding.
Okay.
Also, did you know that oftentimes though pistachio flavored things are actually flavored with almond, not pistachio, because it's more cost effective?
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
But
anyways, shout out to the pistachio.
So we stock pistachio at the Viva office because there is one of our associate general counsels apparently loves pistachios. So I will have to send him a text to let him know that today is National Pistachio Day.
I mean, that's just a regular Wednesday for him. Or Thursday.
Every day. I was going to say it's every day.
All right. Very good. Let's, I guess we can.
And that's it, folks. And we're going
to. Well, I guess we can at least talk about a couple articles. Let's do that. Okay. So this is the first one that kind of fits along with the second one too. I think that, we're seeing some changes and, more guidance from the FDA. I'm not going to pretend to I understand, Bayesian statistics. But I do find what is specifically interesting about this, and feel free to chime in because I'm kind of just BSing a little here, but the guidance allows sponsors to use borrowed data, so they can incorporate data from previous trials in their submissions. Which
I mean, is the basic goal to get like a higher end so you can get better like statistical power? Is that the general goal?
Ideally so. I'm also guessing this fits in sort of with the next thing we'll talk about, which we have talked about before, is the sort of shift to less trials.
I find it interesting that the FDA is coming out with like lots of like new guidance and stuff on deregulation. Like, hey, we're gonna tell you how you should be less regulated.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's I don't know, it's interesting. I agree, and I do. Again, I see a lot of people sort of championing that, and maybe that's not wrong. I guess we'll find out. We'll find out how.
Yeah. So what is this basically saying? It's like they can use this now. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't read this fully.
Yeah, I mean, essentially,
it's like guidance on how people could.
Yes. So essentially, how to use these particular statistical methods, throughout clinical development, and through their regulatory process to help. So again, looks like essentially, Bayesian comes into its own when you can use historical information called informative prior. So you can get sample size efficiencies, greater precision, and treatment differences, which, as you can imagine, would make it easier to see treatment effect if one exists. Especially again in things like rare diseases where it can be hard to recruit, but if you can use historical control data, it's going to be significantly easier. Also seems to sort of fit in with.
Okay, I was just going to ask, like, how does real world data?
Yeah. I mean, I'll be really honest. Like, I hear real world data thrown around. I don't even really understand how it's used. I mean, essentially, are we just taking EHR data and mining it? Like,
I mean, I think there's a lot of that. Yeah, I think it's basic. Like you could also look at what are other data sources. You could use like claims data, different data from like central labs and stuff. Like there's probably there's lots of different data vendors out there who like aggregate and sell claims data and lab data and EHR data. And then like data rights is a whole thing, but that's what I was imagining, like, so that we can use the other data, but like whose data is it? Where is it coming from?
Yeah. And something interesting is that it may actually increase some of the timelines, which is sort of not something, I guess, a little bit counterintuitive.
I mean, I guess you have more data you have to account for.
Yeah, you got to cull through more data. Yeah, and it seems to be more on the prep side, according at least to this particular article. And this is still, draft guidance, I guess, at this point. Yeah. Again, guidance hasn't exactly always turned out to be
real life's
anything in many instances, which I think we've seen time and time again. And also, again, I think there's the question of there's going to be the question of sort of like trust with this. What's the word with this group?
But I think in general too, like the whole. I mean, this flows into I think even the next two articles where it's like how we're gonna evolve the trial space and like what are we gonna use as far as, is it legacy data from places? Is it digital twins? Is it, what I mean? Like, what are we doing?
Well, we're trying to do everything we can except for just run a better randomized clinical trial, apparently.
I mean, because that's not fun and sexy.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard as we see, but maybe it'll get a little bit easier as the FDA shifts. When we talked about this a while back, I've noticed a lot more chatter about it. But essentially, the FDA shifting from one pivotal trial for drug approval from the more standard two.
Well,
Go ahead.
It makes me wonder. So when the FDA is coming out and saying this type of thing, are they trying to add other things around it to say you only have to do one, but here's other ways to make that one trial more inclusive or broader?
Yeah, and I guess I'm likely, time will tell. And so I will point out, like I saw even a post from Dr. Califf, friend of the podcast, Dr. Califf, that like this really isn't like that uncommon to get approval off of one pivotal trial. In a lot of instances, this article kind of touches on some instances where that's been the case. So this may not even necessarily be like some huge movement, as it's been, somewhat common practice from my understanding.
Okay.
So, okay, let's see. What does it not mean? So let's get to your point here. Does not mean there'll be a relaxation of statutory requirement for substantial evidence of effectiveness. Doesn't mean that there's a lower evidentiary standard for safety or benefit risk. Doesn't mean faster approvals without rigorous review, any reduced statistical expectations, or automatic acceptance of marginal or equivocal data. Equivocal. I'm just going to add some syllables in there.
Just add a few vowels. It's good.
If anything, as you can imagine, it's going to intensify scrutiny.
Right.
Which, right? I mean, that makes sense.
Right, because now you don't have the leeway. You're not, right. You know what I mean? Like, so what does it mean?
What does it mean? You know what? Luckily, that's what the next part.
Luckily, it's right there.
So quality superseding quantity, which I mean, obviously. So, and this is a little concerning to me because, I mean, isn't one of the tenets of good science like reproducibility, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we're not even going to try to reproduce it anymore. So whether it's replicable is, I guess, always going to be a question that will never get answered if we only always do one trial. Yeah, I guess that's
true. Is it replicable? Maybe not. Maybe it is. I mean, yes, or unless you're saying like it's replicable within the trial. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're added, if there's increased scrutiny, we think perhaps maybe we're trying to do more evidence of making it replicable in the trial.
Right. I mean, I get what you're saying. And I guess I don't know. Again, I think that'll be interesting.
But I mean, yeah, it's fundamentally you want to be able to. I remember doing like a 6th grade science experiment where like you did one thing and then you had to like write it down and like the person next to you had to like do the same thing, get the same result.
Yeah. I mean, that's what should happen. And again, I know that's not exactly lend itself to being a cheap nor quick process, but that's fine. That's not what we're doing. Then that's just not what we're doing. Number 2 is the totality of evidence narrative becomes central, which is a sentence that makes no sense.
I was going to say, what the hell does that even mean?
A single pivotal trial does not stand alone. Its persuasiveness depends on the surrounding evidence ecosystem, including real-world natural history context, prior clinical experience, biomarker alignment, dose response validation. So still a lot of regulatory stuff in there, right?
But I mean, how is this? Shouldn't that be the case today? Like how is...
I would think that would not be any different.
Right. So like, why is... Okay.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that's different from having 1 or 2, but...
Not necessarily. It looks like they'll, sponsors want to have earlier, deeper regulatory engagement, which does make sense. Obviously, you want to make sure that it's real good before you get started. Because
you don't want to get to the end and be like, oh shit, we messed this up. Never mind, it's not good.
Yeah, that would be not ideal. We were going to have more concentrated development risk and accountability, which that
sounds pretty much the same as the first one, right? With the like higher, deeper regulatory. Okay, so yeah, you're going to evaluate risk. I mean, it's all similar concept. You're just going to be more stringent and more meticulous because you have less chances.
And lastly, a reinforcement of patient-centered standards. At its core, the policy evolution reaffirms, not revises, FDA's central mandate. Demonstrate the therapy's benefit outweighs its risk for patients. One pivotal trial must sufficiently be persuasive. Which, that's fine and well and good. I mean, I think you start to get into like not just does the benefit outweigh the risk, but is it as good or better than
Current.
what's already available? Which I don't know is a question that we ask enough.
Yeah,
why we have so many placebo-controlled trials when there are effective treatments on the market, you know?
That should be right. Yep. Because the statisticians, it's easier to just, have it be cut and dry.
Yeah. So it's interesting. And I guess, for us, or for me, I guess specifically, the question then becomes like, okay, or is it going to be, what's that going to mean for, I guess, like, what will it mean for sites? Does that mean do you presume there will be more sites on each study because they need to be bigger and better powered?
Mm-hmm.
Or does it mean there's just going to be less trial opportunities? Because obviously they don't need to run them. They may not need to run them twice, or again, will it be the same amount of opportunities across less studies? Because now instead of a 1,500 person trial, maybe you need a 5,000 person trial. I don't know. I don't even know if that's accurate,
I mean,
especially if you can now also throw in your whole, Bayesian statistical models.
Right. Where you're
trials
using.
may not need to be as big. So there's just less clinical trials out there.
And I would also imagine regardless of if there's less opportunities or more, engagement in clinical trials is going to be more stringent. There's going to be more strict regulatory. There's going to be more oversight. And people are going to want to have a little bit. I mean, I'd imagine you'd want to have more control. You'd micromanage a little bit more, right? Like,
right.
I want to make sure this goes well because this is my one shot.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to, and again, we'll see, because this could have actually, as you think about it, could have big implications, because also you may not want to use a CRO. You may want to do more things in-house because you really need to keep an eye on it, because you're going to have only one. You're going to care a lot more about the quality of the sites you pick, because you don't want that whatever percentage of non-enrolling sites or sites that whose quality aren't as good.
Mm-hmm.
I also wonder, like, then you start to get to bigger questions about, like, there's a lot of site M&A. Well, if there's less studies, like, is it less attractive to run all these clinical research sites? There's a lot of interesting things sort of downstream effects that could have, assuming any of this actually.
Well, and that's my other question too, is like, when does this come into play? Like, when do we see the first sponsor being like, I'm just going to run one trial for this?
Well,
like, when does that actually hit, and what happens?
We've seen some of these companies get rug pulled by promises, from current administration.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, yeah, so it's like they try it and they're like, actually, never mind, we changed our mind, we're doing it different, and then they're right. Like,
well, the wheels turn slowly, so we'll see. I think it's interesting, nonetheless. And again, I saw a little bit of people's responses over the last week, so which seems like a little bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, I got a little bit of a heart out here, so we will be back Tuesday.
We're back Tuesday. We're doing one more live stream before we head to SOS later in the week.
Very good. So we'll catch you guys next week. Kitty's waving goodbye.
She says bye.
Bye, guys.
She's been bothering me the whole podcast, so she wanted to come up and say hi.
Well, she gets her time in the limelight. That's all she wanted.
That's all she wanted, yep.
All right. See you later, guys.
Cool. See ya.
Thanks for listening to Note to File. We're committed to continuing to bring you independent and unfiltered coverage of the clinical trial industry.
We want to talk about what you want to hear. So if you have something on your mind, hit us up at notetofilepodcast.com.